evening, everybody. Good afternoon, and welcome to the Imps'S View podcast show with me, Cornell B, back again with another video. And today, I'm just doing a reflection of Lincoln City's draw against Peterborough United, and obviously speaking about the transfer deadline day, and obviously my reactions to Lincoln City, obviously, and everything Lincoln City. So before I get into the video, I want to say thank you very much to the 477 subscribers who are subscribed to my YouTube channel. It absolutely means the world to me. Keep on smashing a like, keep on leaving your comments and your reactions and your thoughts about Saturday's 0-0 draw against Peterborough. Obviously, I forgot to also mention, I'm going to be talking about Darren Ferguson's comments as well, what he mentioned as well in his interview just after the draw, and my reactions to that, and obviously still talking about transfer deadline day and who do I think that Skabala should sign and who he shouldn't sign. So keep on smashing likes, keep on leaving your comments and leaving your reactions, and keep on smashing the subscribe button. Thank everybody who has obviously subscribe to my YouTube channel, so keep on going with that. So let's get into the video. So obviously this is the first time that I'm doing a audio proper podcast show, because basically you're always like seeing me like doing my filming and filming and doing all kind of things, but I also felt that I need to try something different, which I have been doing, and it's starting to work already, me doing audio sort of voiceovers as well, and see how that goes, and then if it works, it works. If it don't work, it don't work. But obviously me reacting to us Lincoln City drawing against Peterborough United, what's my reaction to that? Obviously, reflecting on that game is that obviously us Lincoln City got very salvaged a point. We deserved to salvage a point, and we deserved to draw that game. But honestly, I do think that us Lincoln City deserve to actually go on and get 3 points. And the reason why I say that we deserve to get 3 points out of the game is because of the amount of chances we had. Like, we had chances through Mandroyu, chances through Rico, which I think if that had actually gone over Steer's head, I think that would have been like goal of the season. And I feel like obviously the chances that were created, and I mean, look, we should have put them away. And I'm sure a few Imps fans would agree with me and say, yes, I think we could have had 1 or 2 goals there. Mandroy's chance, Hamilton's chance, Sorensen's chance. So there were a few things that maybe we could have put right. But one thing I can actually sit down and say, that things are starting to click. And I mean, look, I know I was reading about Sorensen on Twitter today. Some say that he's been poor and hasn't been that consistent, and some are saying that maybe we need a right back and maybe to challenge and Sorensen. Do I think we need a right wing back? Look, listen, I feel like obviously we have been linked with a right wing back before. We was linked with Todd Kane throughout this January, and obviously that's kind of like died down. So I mean, obviously Skabala's obviously wanting experience in the team, and if we can get experience in the team, then I feel like maybe that's a big stepping stone, and maybe we do lack a leader. But I feel like from the performances that have been going on, has been going really well, and we're seeing the very best and of us, and you're seeing the best of Draper, you're seeing the best of Taylor, but obviously yes, they haven't scored yet, and I am rooting for them to score. I mean, my thoughts on seeing us Lincoln City draw against Peterborough United, I thought we were solid. I thought we were physical. We were aggressive. We made a lot of great tackles in the box. We made good tackles in defense, midfield, winning the balls, even winning the ball when they were on the counter attack, and then when they were causing problems, and they got us as well. They caused a bit of problems as well too. When you got players like Mason Clark, who's obviously a class individual for Peterborough, and obviously they wanted to come into the game and say, well, okay, they were going to beat us, and we stood up to them, and we stood them up like we did Derby last week, and we showed Peterborough that we wasn't afraid. But I feel like they were poor. They were a poor side, and I'm sure that Peterborough fans will probably accept and admit and probably say, listen, they weren't at their best, and they weren't like when Clark Harris came on for them, and he was poor. He looked uninterested. He looked like he didn't want to be part of the game. He didn't want to play a part. And obviously I think when he's not in their team, then they feel much more different. But us, Lincoln City, we saw the very best outstanding performances from individuals on Saturday. And I'm gonna say absolutely. Lucas Jensen, 10 clean sheets. Honestly, do you know what was absolutely funny, really? I was actually when I went to the game on Saturday, and obviously I wasn't I can't believe that I was able to go to the game on Saturday and really go and see Lincoln City, watch Lincoln City, draw against Peterborough and really show the determination, the fighting spirit, and never backing down. But obviously we didn't score, and I feel we could have put the chances away and turned it into goals. And I feel like obviously with the games coming up, which I'm going to touch on in a minute, I want to just reflect on drawing the game on Saturday with Peterborough United. You know what was really funny? When I was watching the players train before the game, and I was watching like Lucas Jensen make some absolute outstanding saves in the training, in the build up to the game, and then Lucas Jensen like came up and said to me, "Oh, long time no see," and I was like, "Well, yeah, long time no see." And then I said to Lucas Jensen that he's gonna get his 10th clean sheet, and he's like, "Oh, I'll try to," and I was like, "Well, nah, you're gonna get your 10th clean sheet." And what happened? He got his 10th clean sheet of this season, and obviously he's the first goalkeeper to of Lincoln City to ever, I mean ever, obviously get his first to obviously in 29 games to actually get 10 clean sheets this season. And there were other two legends that obviously got a bit similar to Lucas Jensen, but Lucas Jensen's the first Lincoln City goalkeeper to achieve that goal. So big up Lucas Jensen for that. I thought his crucial saves were outstanding, even though the goal was disallowed for a foul in the box, which I was very, very chuffed, because I think if the linesman didn't actually disallow that goal, I think that would have been a real controversy goal, and they were getting up on their seats, they were like cheering, and then when their ego started to go down, then basically they kind of like, well, was like, well, why is that not a goal? Why is that not a goal? And obviously for me, as an Imps fan, I felt like the team played really well. I thought Sorensen had a decent game. I thought he won a few good tackles in the first half. I thought he played his part really well. Was a little bit hesitant going forward, which I did actually starting to notice. Like when he makes wicked runs in the box, which he always does, and I mean, he crosses the ball, but his crossing is outstanding. That's why he's the best right wing back in the league. But then I feel like when he goes forward, like he feels a little bit hesitant, and I feel like maybe we're seeing limited chances, maybe with him not going his way. And I was like reading a few messages on Twitter about maybe we need to see a right back come in and maybe come and challenge Lass Sorensen. And I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if Skobala actually goes out and gets Todd Kane for Lincoln City. I would love to see Todd Kane at Lincoln City. I feel like Todd Kane would be an outstanding player that would come into this team. But obviously, to get players on a free transfer is very, very difficult. And when you've got like players that maybe will be asking for a bigger wage, it's going to be difficult and it's going to be hard. And I feel like if we are going to get players on a free transfer, obviously we've got two loans remaining, obviously, which I'm going to touch on. Then they've got to be the right players at the right time. But I felt like Sorensen had a decent game. I thought he won some wicked good tackles in the box. Put some like real good crosses in the box. But like I said, I feel like if we can keep up this momentum like we did, I like the positive energy that we showed, I like the determination, the fight, and I felt like we really stood so tall, hard and tall for them up to Peterborough, and really show Peterborough why us Lincoln City are not afraid of really being up there with the best. And obviously, um, more Lass Sorensen tries to have a good performance and get him back to his good self, then we're going to see the very best. But I feel like maybe, I know some Imps fans have put it, that he has been poor and maybe not that sort of consistent that we expected him to be. But obviously, you can't expect a player to be fantastic all the time. Some players are going to have good games, and some of them is going to have bad games. So that's how it goes. I thought Jackson outstanding, solid as ever. In the defense, I thought his performance was outstanding. But Alex Mitchell has been such a revolution for us, Lincoln City, since his loan spell from Millwall. And I'll be very interested. I would really like to see us, Lincoln City, really try and bring him on a permanent deal in the summer. Because if we was able to do that, I would be thrilled if that absolutely happens. Because I feel like us, Lincoln City, have an absolute steal of a centre back. And when you look at Alex Mitchell's performances this season, Alex Mitchell's performances has been outstanding. It's like looking at a player and you feel like when we didn't have enough depth when Mark Kennedy was actually in power, I did think, well, who we're going to bring in? And then when we bring in Alex Mitchell, I felt like Alex Mitchell would really turn it around. And as when he signed for us on loan in the summer, he was like to really stamp his authority on the defense, on the Imps defense, and he has shown that. And Alex Mitchell has shown the consistency, the determination, the teamwork, the hard working Alex Mitchell that we're seeing this season. So he's turned his season around, and I'm sure Mill will be thinking, well, if we're seeing the very best out of Alex Mitchell, then obviously he's going back to Millwall at the end of the season. I feel like we need to sign him on a permanent deal. If we can sign him on a permanent deal, I would be so excited because we've got an absolute steal. And I think it's going to be very, very interesting to see how Paulie O'Connor gets back in the team. I think O'Connor will probably start on the bench. I think he will go on the bench, and I think he will probably obviously will have to earn his place in the team, even though he knows that Mitchell, Jackson, and TJ, even though TJ Ulmer didn't play on Saturday, obviously we saw Rowan playing that in as a right centre back. We saw Sorensen in the midfield making it, obviously, and then Rico making the five. Obviously, Rico Hackett playing as a left wing back. Obviously, I could clearly understand that it's probably not his best position, but then when you're playing in these type of positions, then you have to learn to adapt to playing in different positions, because you're going to play in a position where you may not feel it's not the right place at the right time. But again, I feel like obviously if he can play in that sort of way, like we're always used to seeing him play as a left winger, and obviously we've watched with the new formation that Scabala's been putting out, and at the moment it's working. It's working the way how he wants us to play, and then the style of play he's bringing to our team has been outstanding. Has been outstanding this second half of the season. But obviously, to see Teddy Bishop playing, the two Ethans playing, obviously I think fingers crossed that Bishop is injury is not that serious, because obviously Bishop, I thought he had an outstanding game against Peterborough on Saturday, and I felt like obviously we're seeing the very best, but obviously it came with a cost, and obviously he walked off on his own power. Obviously it looks like it's probably a calf injury, so or a hamstring. I don't or a hamstring. It might be a hamstring injury or calf injury, but if it is a calf injury, hoping it's not too serious, probably it's just for a few weeks, probably just to give him a rest. And this is why I said, we need to bring in a midfielder this January, this before the deadline day, because we can't be relying on Teddy Bishop all the time, because Teddy Bishop is now injury prone. Like if he was really fit and avoiding injuries, I think he would be playing championship football. But then when you've got the talent that he's got and the creativity that he's got, then it is hard. So I feel like we need a midfielder, and we need to bring in a midfielder, a proper midfielder. And I feel like somebody like a Charlie McCann is definitely the player who can really make something different and bring a difference to our Imps team. And I feel like if we can do that, if Scabala can bring him into our team, I would be absolutely happy if that was to happen, because I feel like obviously he was on loan at Rangers. Obviously now he's gone back to Forest Green Rovers. Obviously he's playing in their team, but obviously it's obviously he's playing in a struggling team who's obviously fighting who's in the relegation zone. So I feel like maybe it's time for him to maybe leave and step up and go and play League One football, because he's everything that Scabala wants, and he fits the style that obviously that Scabala is looking for in a player. And it's about, and as he has always said, it's about bringing the right players at the right time. And you can't just go into a loan transfer market, or a free transfer market. I mean, like, there's players from League Two that's obviously on the verge of leaving, and their contracts is up in the summer. And I feel some of them could really fit our team in the summer, but obviously I think permanent deals and things like that's going to be done in the summer. So right now it's more focused on loan deals and possibly free transfer deals. So I feel like, obviously, we got to trust Skubala and stuff like that. But obviously, Teddy Bishop, for me, I thought he had an outstanding game. I thought Rico Hackett, man, / rewind Rico Hackett has had a masterclass since his return from injury. Being out for 3 months, and you know what? And I said this even when he made his comeback against Wickham when we drew 1-1 against them, and I said that Rico Hackett is showing what we've been missing this season in that final third, because the final third has been lacking somebody to really get at defenders and really been taking them to the cleaners, taking them out of putting them out of their misery and saying, listen, I'm back to be in this team. I'm back to do anything that you asked me to do as a player. And he has shown that. He's always been positive going forward, even though Portsmouth fans didn't rate him and they feel like he's not good enough. But since he's come to us, we've got the best out of him. And he's showing that he can make a positive impact. And this is what I said, our team this second half of the season will make their impacts known this season. We're going to carry on still playing the positive energy football. We're still going to be carrying on to basically really show bigger teams why we want to be finishing as high as we can and finishing the top 6 this year. I do believe that. Yes, I know we might be maybe points behind, but there are miracles, and I've seen miracles happen. But obviously, we need to improve, and that's true. We do need to improve, and I feel Skubala will do that, and he will improve our team with quality players, experienced players added, but it's got to be the right ones at the right time, at the right place. Taylor and Draper, I thought they played really well against against Peterborough. Sorry, I feel like, you know, they obviously, I do feel like they need to start scoring, obviously, but they're getting used to the team, and they're getting used to the style of play and the formation, and playing together as a duo. And I know, yes, I do think things are starting to click already, and things are starting to go well for us. But I feel we still need a bit more quality to be added into this team. And I feel like once we add more quality into our team, then I feel like we're gonna go places this season, and we're gonna go up the table this season. So we have to start believing. But obviously, look, we haven't won any games. We haven't won any games in 10 games this season since November. And, look, we need to start scoring goals. We need to start putting the ball in the back of the net. We can't be, drawing is good because we get a point, and a point is very, very valuable. But we need to start, really, really start scoring goals, because we've got 3 games. We've got Burton next week, away at the Pendelly Stadium. Then we've got to play Fleetwood at home, and then we've got Exeter City. Those 3 games are very important, and they are winnable games. And I feel like if we can get points out of those, because they're the lower teams, I believe we could really do something special this second half of the season. But obviously, the main focus right now is the transfer deadline day this week, which obviously starts on the 1st of February. Obviously. So I do believe that Skubala and the recruitment team will know, and they're working hard as possible to make sure that us Lincoln City bring in the right players at the right time. And I know Skubala will do that, trust me. So that was the Peterborough versus us Lincoln City game. Obviously, Darren Ferguson obviously came out and said that us Lincoln City celebrated like we won a cup final. What is my reaction to that? For me, you need to close your mouth, because that is disrespectful. If we want to celebrate like we won a cup final, we will celebrate. You're upset by the fact that you drew against us Lincoln City. You couldn't get past our defense. Mitchell and Jackson and Sorensen and especially Mitchell and Rowan, they outsmarted you. We outsmarted you from start to finish. It's just that we couldn't put the finishing touches in the goal. If we had just taken our chances, which we did take our chances, then we would have beaten you 1 or 2 goals on Saturday. So you're quite fortunate that you actually got a point and we're both sharing the points. But again, you come out and say, well, we celebrated like we was in a cup final. No, no, no. We didn't celebrate because we're in a cup final. Because if we was in a cup final, say for example, we was in the playoffs this season and this end of the season, and we finished in the top six and we got into the playoff final and we got into the playoffs this year, then we would be celebrating like we are mad. And then you would imagine the high street of Lincoln City, of Lincolnshire, would be in a ram jam packed celebration. We're seeing Lincoln City, really celebrating. So if we want to celebrate because we drew against you, we'll celebrate. I mean, look, obviously, I can clearly see that, obviously, Darren Ferguson hasn't really got any compliments going towards Lincoln City, and that's cool and that's fine. We don't care. We don't care. We don't business because obviously we stood up to you. I mean, obviously you've won back to back promotions, but obviously you haven't won no trophies. But at least Sir Alex Ferguson has actually won trophies compared to Darren Ferguson. So Darren Ferguson, you need to shut your mouth and you need to focus on your season and don't come crying at us and saying, well, we celebrated like we won the cup final. You need to shut your mouth and you need to keep your mouth closed. Keep your mouth closed and keep it closed because karma will come back to haunt you. And you got your karma, and we dented your hopes. We dented your hopes and Peterborough's hopes from actually challenging for promotion. And obviously, yeah, you go in again, and then your players come out this week and say they're gonna learn from their mistakes against us. No, you're probably you're gonna flip it up and bottle it probably maybe this week. No disrespect, you got some great players in your team. Obviously, I mean, since the Clark Harris saga going on, was he going to go to Charlton or where is he going? Blah blah blah. He's in demand and etc. But listen, at the end of the day, I feel like you know it don't matter what Darren Ferguson said. All I cared about was that we Lincoln City got a point. We salvaged a point. We saw the best of Alex Mitchell, and we're going to see even more of him this season, along with Jackson. O'Connor's going to find it very difficult to get into the team, but I do believe that he will get back to his best, and we'll see the very best of Paulie O'Connor come the next game, obviously. But let's wait and see. Let's wait and see what happens from now till then. But so far, the best defensive duo this year is Jackson and Mitchell, along with Rowan and Sorensen. Um, and obviously, it's transfer deadline day. Who do I think us Lincoln City need to bring in this January before deadline day on the 1st of February? I do believe we need a midfielder because right now, when I saw Teddy Bishop being going down injured, I just felt that us Lincoln City we need to add a midfielder in because we can't be waiting and relying on Teddy Bishop's quality all the time. We all know how brilliant Teddy Bishop can be on his day, but then obviously when you're injury prone, it is very very hard. And I feel if we can bring someone like an experienced midfielder, maybe someone like a Charlie McCann or someone like a Shane McLaughlin, who obviously I do rate and I was impressed with because I was watching his game yesterday when Newport obviously unfortunately lost to Manchester United. I thought he was very impressive, and I feel like if he can bring that impressive ability and his form with us Lincoln City, I feel like Skubala could get the best out of him. He's 26 because obviously Skubala wants to bring in players from the age of 26, 27, 28, 29 upwards. And bring them in and see and give the experience that we need. So I do believe that when I see one. I do think we need a left wing back as well. I know some will say that we might not need one, but I do think we do. Maybe a right wing back to challenge Sorensen, obviously, for the second half of this season. Maybe someone like a Todd Kane, maybe Jordan Shipley would be an ideal one. I do rate Jordan Shipley, to be honest, and I feel like Jordan Shipley would be a very good one. I mean, we've got two loans remaining. I think if we had to get two wingers on loan, I would say Ian Povida and Romain Ase, who's obviously having his playing time limited at Millwall, and obviously did play against Preston, and obviously slightly impressed. But I feel he needs to be going to a club that's going to get the best out of him, and I feel Roman Ase would be outstanding. Would be an outstanding. So if Skubala's looking at that, I feel like us Lincoln City need to bring someone like that maybe in, and maybe Ian Povida in this team, because I feel like if we can bring someone like that, I think it'll be real quality. But who knows? I mean, who knows? We might see maybe a player on a free transfer come in and show their true quality to the team, and stuff like that. But other than that, I'm looking forward to transfer deadline day. And also I'm looking forward to seeing who comes in. Obviously, Alistair Smith has been playing outstanding before putting an outstanding performance for Colchester. And obviously, very pleased to hear that, of course, and obviously keeping track with what the other players are doing, obviously, who's gone out on loan. Um, but other than that, look, it's going to be an interesting couple of days for us, Lincoln City. Who's gonna come in? Who's gonna obviously come in on loan? Who's gonna come in on permanent? All these things, all these questions are going to be asked, and we're looking forward. We'll be keeping our phones ready to see who comes in and who don't come in. But other than that, I do believe that us Lincoln City need to be signing players like maybe a Charlie McCannon and maybe a Shane McCloggin, and someone that obviously has that sort of experience and that would really help our team so much. So I feel like if we could get them sort of quality players in, obviously Pavida on loan, or Romain Ase on a loan deal possibly. Or you never know, maybe bringing a short term deal striker, maybe someone like a Connor Wickham or somebody. I think that would be great business. But let's wait and see who comes in. Obviously, I do think we need a left wing back. If we're looking at left wing backs, I would probably say a Matt Penny is a possible outcome. But let's wait and see. Maybe a Todd Kane. I'm still optimistic that maybe a Todd Kane might come in. Who knows? Because I think we do need two wing backs, obviously, just to take the pressure off Barabas, take the pressure off Sorensen a little bit, just to give them the competition that they need. Do you know what I mean? So I feel if we can get players like that, it would be all right. But let's wait and see who comes in this January, coming towards deadline day. Obviously, I want to say thank you very much to everybody that has tuned into the Imps'S podcast show with me, Cornell B. This is the first time I'm doing an audio sort of podcasting show for me to put out on YouTube. So thank you very much. Love to hear what you guys think about it. Keep on smashing your likes. Keep on leaving your comments and your reactions to my reflection of Saturday's game and Darren Ferguson's comments, and obviously transfer deadline day, of course. Love to hear what you guys think. So thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you very soon up the Imps.